Hi, I'm Todd Wente, and this is the Daily 180, 180 seconds of motivation and inspiration intended to help you take action and make progress in your life. This is episode 572 of the Daily 180, and we're going to continue on. We're leaving Tim Urban's insights and going to Jana Levin. I'm not sure if it's Jana Levin or Jana Levine, but she's an astronomer, and she has some really interesting things for us in this book, Tribe of Mentors. The first one that I want to talk about from hers is a really interesting one, and I think it's one that I've struggled with, and probably one that most of us struggle with. She says, we discourage failure, and by doing so, we subtly discourage success. You know, I think most of us have heard people say, well, the only way to really be successful is to go out there and try things and fail. And then they throw at us all these things like, what about Edison? 1,000 times to try the light bulb, or 10,000 times to try the light bulb before it was a success. And we all go, wow, if only I were Edison and brave enough to try. But here's the reality. Even when we're being shown that, we're being taught to avoid the failure. We're being taught that what matters is not, if Edison had never gotten the light bulb, nobody would care about the 10,000 failures, right? And so in one way, we're trying to tell ourselves and our children and everybody else, hey, look, failure is going to work. Eventually, you're going to get successful. But the reality is that when we focus on the success first, rather than focus on the process that was used to get to the success, we might be sending a mixed message. Risk is the thing that I took from that. Risk of failure. And rather than telling people, go out there and be successful by failing, I think we ought to tell each other, we ought to tell ourselves, take risks, try new things, go out there and try something and see how long it takes you to get good at it. If it's something that you want to do, if it's something that you're passionate about, go for it. I was thinking this morning about some of the risks that I've taken. And one of the biggest risks that I've ever taken was asking my wife to marry me. We had known each other for just a few weeks, really. And we'd only been dating for, less than that. And I was very convinced that this was the woman that I wanted to marry. Now, part of the reason for that was because I dated a lot of other people. I'd taken a lot of risks in relationships. And oh my goodness, I had crashed and burned on some. And when I asked my wife to marry me, I wasn't sure if I was going to crash and burn or not. I thought she liked me, and I thought this could be a good thing, but I wasn't completely sure. Well, I took the risk. I jumped in, and guess what? She said yes, but that wasn't the end of the risks. We had to figure out how to blend together. We had a lot of failures along the way, a lot of moments where things didn't work out perfect the first time, but we stayed with it. We worked at it, and now 30 years later, almost to our 31st anniversary, we're still together. I hope this has given you something to think about the idea of risk and staying with something even when you might be failing along the way, because that's the sure path to success. If this has been useful, make sure you hit the button to subscribe and be reminded for new ones with the bell. Share it as wide as you can. And like I always say, this has been the Daily 180. My name is Todd Wente. Go forth and conquer. We'll see you next time.